Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. So once again, we're taking a look at another product that's been sent out to me for review. So this is a 2-camera kit including a base station, a wireless camera kit sent out to me by Wuuk Labs. This particular one, as you can see, is their sort of pro kit. So this is 2K resolution, which kind of matches up with what Eufy and a lot of the other security sort of cameras out there are actually working to at the moment. Just taking a look at the actual packaging itself. So once again, free to use, no monthly fee, so no subscription service, nothing like that. They are battery powered and it comes with the base station, so any recordings are linked straight to that. It does say it supports Android and iOS. We will obviously take a look at what sort of support that entails in terms of the ability to do NAS recordings or link up to any smart platforms such as HomeKit, Alexa, Google Play, all the rest of it. Okay, so in terms of the packaging, very simple. It does list quite a lot of the features there. So 9,600 milliamp hour battery, water resistant. They do have IR detection at night, motion detection, two-way audio. This is all sort of standard kind of stuff. Built-in storage in the base station itself, and you have the ability to obviously share this and link it up for several different smartphones, so everybody has access to it. You do have smart notification, and they have their own dedicated text port as well. Just below that, you do have some of the details for the actual company itself. Interestingly, they don't have a UK number listed. However, this was sent out to me within a reasonable amount of time. So if you do order here in the UK or presumably Europe as well, I don't think you're gonna have to wait too long. It did arrive pretty quickly from the point that they actually dispatched it. Okay, so we'll dive in and do a quick unboxing. So this is how it comes packaged. You do have your user manuals and everything on the top. We won't take a look at that just yet. You have a big box of accessories, as you can see just there. We'll just pop that to the side for a second. You do have the base station itself, which seems very hollow. Seems very light and almost cheap feeling. On the back of it, you do have a USB port. You have the Ethernet connection, you have the power input, and you have the sync button as well. Presumably this is going to be where the actual speaker is located on the back. On the front you have minimal branding just there, and then we'll take a look at the actual cameras themselves. Now obviously I have quite a few Eufy security cameras, so generally in terms of weight and things like that, you get a good idea in terms of what sort of battery life you're going to get. Now this particular unit, as soon as I've lifted that, this is almost similar weight to what the 1-year battery life Pro Eufy cameras actually suggest. Taking a look on the back, you do have a QR code just on the back there. You have some model information as well as import information in terms of the charging. If we lift this up, I'm guessing, yeah, so you do have the power button just there, and if we twist it the other way, presumably, you do have your charging, which is actually USB-C on this particular model, which is quite good to see because obviously it'll mean much faster charging. I do like the fact that they have their charging port, presumably by the looks of this, on the bottom of the camera rather than the top, which is quite a big fault in a lot of the other designs out there, because they always seem to put the charging port on the top, which if you want to hook it up to a solar panel, yeah, that makes sense, because it'll mean that your cable's actually staying at the top of the setup rather than dangling down. However, it's always the first point of failure because water will literally just pool up there. Just taking off the actual plastic film. Once again, I don't know why every manufacturer insists on doing it, but this front piece just here is a glossy black plastic, which no doubt will scratch up in no time. You have your LED flash just below the camera lens itself, and then you have your IR blaster or your infrared scanner. You also have the speaker just there. The speaker may well be part of the reason why this unit's so heavy, and I'm literally just going off from what I can remember, having removed one of those cameras recently. Second camera will no doubt be exactly the same, so I don't think we need to take too much of a look at the second camera, but yeah, as you can see, it is a 2-camera kit. So presumably these will be the mounts for the actual cameras itself. Now each one does have, by the looks of it, a 1/4-inch thread just on the back there. So if you don't like the built-in mounts, then you can just use a third-party one, which is generally what I tend to do with most of my locations where I'm mounting my security cameras. You get the actual power lead itself for the base station, and with this, yeah, so this is kind of what I was expecting. So you do get quite a few different adapters for various different regions of wall plug as well, which is good because it means that you don't have to then go out and buy an adapter, which means that it's sticking out quite a bit from the actual wall itself. For me, obviously being in the UK, this is the one that I'll be using. Yeah, I would have preferred it if it was the other way around. See, the problem we have here in the UK is if you mount this into a wall socket, then that's perfectly fine because it's literally just sticking up, it's not clashing it with anything. However, if you use this with a power adapter, a surge protector, something like that, then what happens is this portion that's sticking out here actually clashes with the plug on the opposite side, and it means that you end up losing one plug. So any manufacturers out there, when you're making any type of plug for the UK, I would switch this the other way around because it'll probably be more useful to most people. You also get some wall fixings for the actual camera mounts themselves, and obviously with this being a 2-camera kit, you do get 2 mounts with it as well. So there are the mounts, very simple. If we just try and thread one on, yeah, it should be fine. So the built-in mount, a lot of them, what I tend to find is once you've actually tightened it fully down, you can still actually move the camera quite a bit, which obviously isn't what you want because you get it set and then slowly over time it'll droop down. But yeah, this one seems perfectly fine. So that's all the accessories and everything that you get in the package. What we'll do next is I'll get these installed somewhere. We'll do a few samples and also take a look at the actual app itself, see what sort of functions that has, and then we'll come back for the wrap up. Okay, so following the actual setup and testing and everything of the Wuuk Labs camera kit, I've got a little bit of feedback to give. So firstly, initially when I did the unboxing, you'll remember that I actually commented on how cheap feeling this actually felt. I mean, even now it feels like it's completely empty. It feels like there's virtually nothing in here. The setup process was both some of the easiest and also some of the most difficult I've actually experienced with any of these kind of camera type devices. The first one being, and the biggest issue with this, which is the actual power cord itself. So this looks like just your standard sort of DC jack that actually goes in. And when you put it in, one thing you'll notice is that it is very, very flimsy. So the actual cable itself, even with the slightest of knock, will actually come loose, which I've never actually seen this before on a device that's sort of aimed at this sort of price point. It's not, I won't say this is a cheap device, I'd say it's probably on par with the competition. So the fact that this comes out so easily, I mean, it literally takes just a few knocks, and as you can see, that just comes out. So that was the first issue with this. The second issue was the fact that despite this asking you for Wi-Fi details during the setup, it needs a permanent Ethernet connection, which it's not the end of the world. And realistically speaking, if I was to use something like this, I would probably power it up permanently with Ethernet just to maximize the actual sort of speed throughput and make sure that there's no dropouts because of possibly a Wi-Fi dropout. Wherever I put these kind of things, generally I'll have a spare Ethernet connection anyway, so it's not really that much of an inconvenience. But I just thought it was strange that it asks you for Wi-Fi details, but at the same time you can't actually use this without having a constant Ethernet connection. The third issue is to do with the fact that this is supposed to have built-in storage, 32 gigabytes of it, and yet as you'll see from the sort of sample recordings that I've done on the actual phone itself, I can't actually get it to play back anything. It won't play back previous recordings, and it won't even save new recordings when I'm actually using the live stream directly to the camera roll either. I tried several different things. I went into the phone settings, I disabled photos access, and then I re-enabled it, making sure that it enables all access, so it should be able to actually record and save directly to the camera roll, and it just wouldn't work. I then deleted the app, logged out, deleted the app, re-downloaded the app, logged in again, and it would still do the same thing. Every single time I tried taking a snapshot of an image or recording an image, it just will not have it. And at the same time, obviously, it then does not allow you to play back any of the recordings. I mean, clearly it is recording because I can see from the menu system that it is making use of the actual built-in storage, as well as the fact that it takes screenshots of events that have occurred whenever it's detected motion, but it just won't let you actually access any of it. I'm not sure what the breakdown is. I'm not sure whether this is a faulty unit, and the fact that this is so light, the fact that it might be actually missing something inside, that's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, it's not been great. As you'll see from the actual live stream, when you actually the live feed, it looks probably on par with the Eufy 2K camera. The Eufy one probably has a bit more saturation in the actual image, but that's just color science, and obviously it's at a different angle, and because where I've mounted the ones for this one is much higher up. It's basically in place of an existing Eufy full HD camera, which I took off just to charge up. But yeah, from what I can see, there's potential to this product. The quality of the video definitely seems like it's pretty good, and from what I've tested so far, the battery life doesn't seem so bad that it would literally just die out because of having that 2K sensor. But there's so many issues with regards to initially this unit. So obviously just how cheap feeling this is, the fact that the power cord, I mean, I literally knocked this out a couple of times. I mean, you can see that there is virtually no click to that. It doesn't actually click in and stay firm. Even when it's pushed in fully, there's still a wiggle, and as soon as it wiggles slightly, it just comes out. I've never seen this on a product where it's aimed at being at this price point before. I mean, as I commented, this seems extremely cheap. The cameras themselves, they feel very premium. They're probably on par with Eufy and some of the other cameras that I've actually used, which obviously that's a sort of market that they're aiming at. But this part of the setup, this is just cheap feeling, and obviously that port there, unless it's just a fault on my unit, that's not good enough, because the slightest knock and that's off, and then obviously your cameras are useless because they've got nothing to record onto. You can't access them unless this is connected and is connected up via Ethernet, despite the fact that you put in the Wi-Fi details. Now on the flip side, when it came to the actual installation and setup of the cameras, I've never actually used a system that was as easy as this. So once this was actually installed and I went to add a camera, it was literally instant. There was none of the usual sort of thing where you have to scan a code or you have to get it to look at an image on your phone, or it does the beeps thing that a lot of them tend to do, this sort of sonar beep pattern that it does. None of that. It literally, you just put it next to it, you select the camera that you want to add, and that's it. It's within, I'd say, 2 to 3 seconds it was actually added, and that was the same for both. So in terms of adding devices, it's probably the best and the most streamlined experience I've ever had with any type of camera system, security camera system. But everything else about this particular unit is not fit for purpose. And obviously I filmed my wrap up prior to actually doing all this testing, but I'm guessing that there probably will be a lot of follow-up videos. I have already reached out to the company. I have explained to them that the video will go live as it is, because I'm not going to lie to my viewers, but I will obviously give them a chance to actually come back to me with a response, possibly send me another unit. This might actually be a faulty unit, but yeah, I'll give them a chance to actually come back with a response. But yeah, I wasn't going to hide this from you guys, because at the end of the day, if this is my experience, this could be your experience as well. And for me personally, right now, I don't think this product is fit for purpose. Okay, so that was my first look at the wireless ProCam Kit 2K. If you do have any questions about the setup, drop them down in the comment section below. If you haven't already done so, please do subscribe, as well as hit that notification bell for any future videos. I'll try and do as many follow-ups on this as I possibly can with regards to battery life and just reliability in general, usability. And I'd really appreciate if you give this video a thumbs up and share it with as many people as possible. And until the next one, thanks very much for watching.